for this particular session is just the concept of using powered by, the AIESEC logo, and just the fonts, the study of colors that's associated with the AIESEC logo and how you should be using them in your graphics, the image dimensions, current design trends, and lastly, I'll just go over the current national campaign and how we can help you implement them in your LCD. So to start off, we will be going over Powered By. I'm sure most of you have already seen it in many of the graphics that we use, like Global Leader or even Global Citizen and Global Talent. Just before I start, you realize that very important that you should not use in the center because it should always be left aligned with the AIESEC logo. And okay, so the reason why we use Powered By. Powered By is very important because the customers need to realize that everything in AIESEC, including all of the sub-products and Global Talent, Global Citizen, and Global Leader, are all part of the same organization. There has been many confusion where people think that Global Citizen or Global Talent are their own separate exchange programs. And oftentimes people wouldn't realize that they're all part of AIESEC. And so by using Powered By, people will understand that AIESEC itself, Global Leader and Global Citizen, they're all part of the organization of AIESEC. And it also decreases the risk of having the sub-brands becoming more popular than AIESEC. So yes, basically every time you're creating graphics, just make sure that it's targeted specifically towards, let's say, a Global Leader program. You need to make sure that it also says Powered By. But if it's a graphic that's just very general and it's not specifically towards a sub-product, then you can just use the AIESEC logo. So here are just two examples of when you should be using Powered By. Your recruitment posts to join finance and human capital. And so you see that at the bottom left corner here, you need to have Powered By. It's just so that people realize that Global Leader isn't its own separate program and that it belongs to AIESEC as an organization. So next, we need to see what is in the AIESEC brand. It is the AIESEC logo, and currently these are all the colors that you're allowed to use. So it's the black and the two shades of blue. But you need to understand that it's the only colors that we'll be using, and you should not be changing the colors or distorting it or making it faded or stay the way that it is. So it's like these three colors here. Also, please don't edit the logo itself. Like you shouldn't be, humans with the basis of your LC, or just like don't do anything different. Leave the logo as it is. So here's an example of a graphic that has been used with the AIESEC logo. So yes, and also one thing is on the top right. You see that there's also sub-products. So this is targeted towards marketing, and it has the marketing logo, and also the Global Talent logo at the bottom left. I will show you the drive with all the logos. So when you're creating designs, it's a lot more convenient. Okay, so why is it important that we use the AIESEC logo? And there's only three reasons, and the main reason behind that is legitimacy, unification, global alignment, and identity. When we use the same logo, it's very important for customers to realize that AIESEC is a professional and legitimate organization. And that's why we need to make sure that all the different LCs are using the exact same logo, because when someone repeatedly sees the same logo over and over again on social media, or even just digital or physical posters, then it'll be more likely for them to become more aware of AIESEC as an organization. And we need to also stand out from campus clubs, because essentially AIESEC only runs on campus and university. So people need to realize that we're not just another student-run campus club, but that we're actually an international organization. And lastly, it also establishes a professional identity for us as AIESECers, and people will come to know AIESEC as a very organized and professional organization that's very separate from other things. Okay, so we'll just go into fonts. I guess there's not much to explain. Just these are the main 5 fonts that AIESEC Canada uses. I would definitely download Plateau because that's the main font that we use in many of our posts. So in graphics with like text with bodies of text, then you should be using Plateau. And also you should download Helvetica too, because I'd say the top 2 are the most used fonts. So here are the AIESEC shapes. If you were in AIESEC for 2015 recruitment, you'll have noticed that there's a lot of, for global leader recruitment, there was the AIESEC shapes used in many of the graphics. And so for designers, especially when you're creating posts, definitely make sure that you input a lot of the AIESEC shapes, and you can play around with the colors. It's a very good, nice way to attract the customer's attention, and we definitely recommend you to use the triangles and squares that are in AIESEC. So just some general guidelines in using the AIESEC shapes. Please do not use solid colors if you were to overlap them, then it just looks very crowded and messy. If you must use solid colors, definitely separate them, and you can definitely play with sizing so that it looks visually appealing. And here are just dimensions for the graphic design that you'll be creating. This will all be in the drive, so you can refer back to it later on. So there's Facebook cover, Instagram pictures, book clips, and also for posters and printed banners and brochures. Also, just a side note, when you're creating banners, Facebook banners, Facebook tends to decrease the quality of the picture. So just as I would definitely recommend you to use a photo that's larger than the pixels here. Like this is the bare minimum, but at best, try and go with like a 2000 sizing. Okay, so before I go on to current design trends, are there any? All good? Okay. Okay, so current design trends. So for AIESEC Canada, there's currently 3 design trends we want to focus on, and that is minimalism, short and concise, and also consistency. So when you're designing graphics to a maximum of 2 types of fonts, we don't want it to look too overcrowded. Once you have too many fonts, it looks very messy and unorganized. So I would use 1 type of font, and if you want to change it up, just play with the bolding or sizing rather than using a new font. As for colors, definitely avoid loud and bright colors. So maybe like either decrease the opacity or mute the shapes so that it's not designs that aren't very loud or in your face. And try and stick with the maximum 3 color palettes. And lastly, it's very useful when you're creating designs to kind of finish it up with a white border. And I'll show you the next example. So see here, it's very simple and minimalistic, and it's very clean. You tidy it up with and at the bottom, just make sure you also always use the AIESEC logo. So this is a very good example of minimalism in our current trends. So yes. Okay, so the next trend that we have is short and concise. This is very simple. Just make sure, much like simplicity, do not be too wordy in your post. The graphics are mainly pictures, and less phrases in words. So if you must say anything, make sure that you use power words rather than power phrases to get the message on. And here, AIESEC Waterloo did a really good job of that. But you notice that you get the whole traveling line set across by just using words, and it's not too wordy, and also only points to attract the viewer's attention. And the last trend that we want to focus on would be consistency. So this also goes back with the goal alignment. Make sure that when you create social media campaigns and when you're creating the designs that they all kind of look similar to each other, and they shouldn't be too different. So always stick with the same thing with fonts, words, and photos, and definitely match colors throughout the picture. Just look into the whole these two colors. Make sure that your colors all match with each other and are similar shapes, and always maintain the same format. Here would be an example where these are two global citizen graphics that you can the same campaign because they're pretty much identical besides color. So when creating designs, don't create new templates for each individual campaign, but try to stick to the similar ones. So that this goes back into repetition. If someone were to see the same style of designs over and over again on social media, it would have a higher chance of getting their attention. So our current national campaign, the NST will upload the global citizen and global talent graphics in the group draft, and we would definitely recommend you guys we encourage you to use the designs that we offer, and that's because of 3 reasons. One being presence. Using all the LCs guides in Canada use all of the same lines that NST guides will help legitimize the brand and also enlarge AIESEC's presence across AIESEC Canada. Number 2 would be that verification. As a member, I understand how long it takes to create new designs for every year or even every month for different global citizen or global programs. And so if you already have provided the design to do, it definitely saves a lot of time and it reduces the marketing load and allows more time for you to focus on the strategies. And lastly would be global alignment. So definitely using the national campaign will always help AIESEC Canada be globally aligned, and also endorses the local community as a serious and professional group because all of these people on Facebook they would realize that they're friends from all different communities and all using the same kind of graphics. And this will definitely help establish AIESEC as a very legitimate organization. Okay, so and I can help you in many ways, providing you with the design. We also have articles for you to use. So I'll just go to these links. So this is the markup portfolio. I'm sure you have access to this. You can go into the folders. So this will be marked by 16. And all of our materials, including our fonts, the slides that I'm going off of would be in the education folder. But so okay, let's see. So digital marketing, education fonts, all the tools that you would need are in here. So this is very important. And also this link here will give you access to it should give you access here. It should be going to the AIESEC global. I talked about this earlier, but global citizen, global talents, there are all different branding logos that you have to be aware of because you need to include them in your designs. So for global citizen, make sure that you always have just this logo, right? And also make sure that it is powered by AIESEC on the graphic as well. For global talents, this is using and also global this green logo here. And you can all download these from the AIESEC folder for the Okay, the design tool. This year we're trying something different for global alignment, and that is Podio. So let me just share screen into it. So it works is this year we're encouraging members to use Podio every time you create a design, and basically how it works is that every time you create a graphic for either global citizen or global talents, you first submit them through Podio. And it's actually a very useful website for you to make sure that your guides are globally aligned and that they're accurate in terms of branding. So let's say you were to submit a design for global citizen, and so you would click your global citizen, and then you would go to add this, and you would put in all the information. So you would give it a title, upload your file and your LC, and in the description, make sure that you tag your designer because that's how we know that you have a design ready and we can look over for you. You need to give us within 3 days. So after 3 days, we'll definitely have it either approved or give you feedback if it needs any. But make sure that it's not very last minute because we have to do other things too. So that the designs are submitted not at the last minute and we're given enough time to look them over. So on the main page here, towards the right, you'll see that we have all the links to the resources. So here's the markup portfolio that I was at earlier. The link for that is here. When it loads, says all the different AIESEC logos, as well as the sub products and program logos. So here, I'll probably talk about these. So with Global Citizen, Global Talent, we also have sub products, and when you're promoting them in your graphics, we recommend that you include these logos. So for example, for Global Citizen, if you were to promote social, you could have this logo right here. And then for OG IP, so Global Talent, and if you were promoting IT, then you would use this logo. But definitely make sure that you always include program logo themselves, and that is Global Leader. So yeah, you can access all of this on the right side of Podio. We also have the spreadsheet for your NFT coaches, and if you have any questions, to your NFT coach, and we'll be happy to either give you a call or Google Hangout and sort things out. So this is the spreadsheet. And so here, something that's very important to know is that the pictures that you use for your AIESEC graphics, you need to make sure that they don't have copyrights and they're free for use. So here are some stock images that we already provide, as well as the AIESEC Canada Flickr and photos from past conferences that you're free to use. Just definitely make sure that you double check if your picture has copyright issues, because we've ran into problems with that in the past, where an LC has been sued because they were using photos of a famous photographer. Another thing is with Podio, we highly recommend you to use it because at NLDC, which is in May, we will look over Podio, and for the designers and members who Podio, we will give you a certification, and the certification will mean that you have accomplished brand management and you'll have understood the rules to AIESEC Canada branding and design. And so once you receive the certification, you no longer need to use Podio anymore, because essentially you are already aware of all the guidelines and branding rules that AIESEC Canada uses, and so you don't really need to have us check it by us every single time. And another thing is, if you use Podio and you make sure that you stick with it until NLCC, then basically you're eligible to join NST without any interview, because NST members are people who understand the guidelines and all the branding management. And if you have proven to us that you have been consistently using Podio and that you are aware of all the rules that AIESEC Canada goes by, then you don't need to get interviewed again. You can help join NST and coach other LCs. So yeah, it's a really great thing, and definitely try it out, because if you use Podio, we'll definitely give you a certification during NLCC. And yes, are there any questions? Okay. Uh, yeah, okay. So, yes, you should give us 3 days to look at the design before we get back at you because we don't really have time to constantly check Podio and check designs. Yeah, the link that we have on the Podio, you don't have to credit us or anything. They're all stock images mostly, but just that like when you're going on Google or even looking for images, make sure that they don't have any copyright issues. And if you're looking, I don't recommend using Google images, but if you do, you should go into tools and settings and make sure that it's free for use. Yeah. Are there any more questions? Okay. Wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, the font I used in the NC slide were, I believe it was Lato, but they should, yeah, so just make sure that you download the five fonts used in the slideshow that I was talking about. But yeah, if there's no more questions, then I think we're good. But yeah, definitely use Podio. It's really good. If you want to join NST and help AIESEC Canada, please, then you should use Podio because you can then just join us without it to do any application. Okay, thank you guys for coming. I think this is it. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Yep, so bye guys. Oh yeah, one question. What was the question? Oh, well, it's not like every single person who uses Podio will receive the certification. We're going to look over it. So basically, like, out of the people who have consistently used Podio and we have known that they constantly been using it and updating it and checking with us designers, those people will be selected. So it's not like, oh, if you use Podio once, then you definitely get into NFT. But yeah, we'll be checking over it, so that won't be a problem. When should we get the output? Like from Podio, you mean? What do you mean by output? Do you mean the result? Like feedback? Oh, for this presentation, yeah, this presentation will be uploaded onto the drive, like as soon as possible. I'll actually upload it right now, like when I afterwards. Yeah, you can find it in the Google Drive under education. So the drive that I linked to with it has like a later global citizen and so on. There should be an education folder there. Yep. Are there any other questions? Okay. So if there's no more, yeah, no problem. If there's no more questions, then I think I will end here. Yes, we wrote each other in LDC. Oh my gosh, I'm actually so excited. It's moving into Toronto, so like saving plane tickets. Oh my gosh, so excited. Yeah, see you guys. See Southern Ontario. I'll see you in South on. Yes. Oh, Jackie. Oh my gosh, yeah. You guys should all come to LDC. It'll be fun. For all the Western LCs, we went to Vancouver, you guys, so you guys better come to Toronto. I know it was so expensive. $800 on big tickets. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. So for tomorrow, Yeah, for tomorrow, it'll be a tutorial on Photoshop and Illustrator. That's going to be ran by Vincent from UT. So yeah, if you want like learners to kind of get a very generic, brief understanding of how to use Photoshop or Illustrator, then tell them to come at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Not to my knowledge, I can speak about that, but I don't think so. At least not right now. I haven't heard any links in. Yeah, but I'll get back to you on that. Um, okay. It was nice to talk to you guys. Thank you for coming. And I will see most of you at Delta, if not then in LDC. And make sure that you use Podio. That way we can give you like the certification. Yep. Okay, thank you. Bye. Good night. Wait, how do you